Proposition 13 is a good thing because earthquakes are a big concern in San Diego. We just had one a couple months ago, and because of retrofitting, we didn't have as many problems as Calexico, wasn't it? So it's good.
Well, I think that's what we should do. I mean, we live in California. Earthquakes happen here, and so it's best for everybody. It's a public good if the buildings are safer. And especially if, the property taxes don't go up, so then they're not dinged twice. One for building it and then one for having post-built it, they're insured.
I think Proposition 13, I would vote for Proposition 13 because as a homeowner, I would like the option of being able to do that and not get my taxes increased.
I have not read it thoroughly. However, my gut instinct right now tells me that it sounds reasonable. It sounds like something that makes sense.
I think that's a great idea, especially in California when we have so many earthquakes. We saw it happen last month down here in San Diego, and so I think it's a good idea without penalizing people for adding a little bit more safety to their households.
Well, just knowing about that, I guess that would help people retrofit their buildings for earthquakes, which is good. I suppose in San Diego there's not a whole lot of use for it because there's not a lot of earthquakes. But I'm not sure how that will impact the income tax system as a whole, and what qualifies necessarily as retrofitting your building for earthquake stuff. I mean, there could be things that are cosmetic or a building needed anyway to help improve it in property value, and the California property tax system, as far as assessment goes, is kind of screwy anyway. So I'm not sure if this would make things more complicated and wacky, or if it would actually be beneficial.
I will definitely vote yes on Prop 13 because I think it would be unfair to increase people's taxes because they're improving their property for earthquakes.
I think Proposition 13 is pretty straightforward. People's overall acceptance of it makes me just a little bit worried. It's something that when everybody's saying yes because it's so easy, it kind of makes me skeptical. I think that I'll end up voting yes on Prop 13, but I just want to make sure first and do some more research.
I think Proposition 13 sounds good. I definitely think that taxpayers should not be punished with increased taxation for making their homes safer. But at the same time, property taxes help a lot of things to do with the city, like funding for schools, which we really need since all of our public schools are failing, and public works, fixing up streets and stuff like that. So I'm not, I feel like we kind of need the money, but at the same time it's good for taxpayers who own homes, but then I don't own a home, so I don't really know how vested I can be in that proposition.
I don't want my taxes going up.
I think Proposition 13 is a good idea to make to allow people to retrofit their houses because it's increasing safety without penalizing homeowners for that action, and I think it's going to save lives and so that people shouldn't be penalized for trying to save their family and protect them.
With respect to Proposition 13, I believe that buildings should be retrofitted up to earthquake standards without being taxed.
Well, I honestly don't know that much about Proposition 13. I'm still a student and I'm not a homeowner and I don't own any real estate, so I feel like, I'm sure that if I did, I would have more of an opinion on this, but I feel like a lot of times when propositions sound good in theory, they don't necessarily work so well in practice, so I think I would have to do more research on it.
Definitely for the initiative. I really don't think people should be penalized for wanting to make property safer, especially in California where earthquakes have become rampant.
I think that's a great idea. I don't think that anyone should have to pay extra just for a safety precaution.
Proposition 13 seems like it's pretty much a shoo-in. I think everybody supports earthquake safety, especially with the recent earthquake in Southern California. I find it interesting that some people are choosing to use it sort of as a protest vote to make a statement about the proposition process in general, though. So that'll be interesting to see if that catches on.
It sounds like a really good idea. I don't think people should be taxed in order to make the building safer. Obviously, it's something we want for everybody, is to have a safe environment. community for all of us.
I think it's great. The only issue I have is where does the money come from to retrofit? I really like preventative measures, and if we do the preventative measures when the earthquake comes, it's going to help lives, it's going to help rebuilding, it's going to help all kinds of costs. So I really like the idea. Similarly, I really like the idea of compensating for solar energy. So I like it.
I think it's a great idea to secure buildings for earthquakes, but at the same time, if we don't increase the person's property, then I don't know who's going to pay for that, because it could be me, and that's not a good idea.
I think it's a great idea. I think they should be able to do that and make their homes safer and their homes better for their community as well, because by one person having their home safer, it impacts their neighbor's home is safer.